Trinity O'Brien.
I'm Rosalina Haleva.
I'm Angela Olenichek.
And I'm Andrew Vercast.
Our group decided to do the topic of climate change. Our question was, what actions must the American people and government take in order to alleviate the climate change crisis? Historically, over the past centuries, climate change has risen in the height of debate topics. However, there has been very little action taken when it comes to addressing climate change. Instead of moving forward, the United States is at a constant battle within its own nation as it tries to take action in order to solve this problem. This urgent problem has been caused by social and cultural beliefs, lack of funding to corporations who use energy-efficient equipment, political controversy, and the increase in Earth's temperature. According to 97% of climate scientists, it has been proven that most of the world agrees on climate change, and it is caused by mankind. NASA itself has provided data that has supported the claim the Earth is warming, according to the scientific article, Climate Change, How Do We Know? The Climate Science Special Report, 4th National Climate Assessment says, many groups of climate change experts, including the United States Global Change Research Program, believe that climate change is being caused by the human's release of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. These greenhouse gases lead to the increase in destructive forest fires, record-breaking warm summers and cold winters that have gone unnoticed. There have been more than 74,000 fires across Brazil this year and nearly 40,000 fires across the Amazon, according to Brazil's National Institute for Space Research. These fires, created by the increase in temperature, which is caused by the global warming, have destroyed the environment in which we live in to an extent that is unfixable.
The number of extreme weather events is increasing annually, causing the United States yearly financial losses to increase as well. In 2016, we lost nearly $130 billion. With each passing year and no solution to climate change put in place, the United States is going to end up losing more money by not fixing it until it is too late and the debt and the damage is irreversible. However, it wasn't always this bad. In 2008, John McCain, the Republican presidential nominee, endorsed climate change reform and turned many Republicans into climate change advocates. However, in 2016, Trump was elected into office and there was a drastic change in who supported the reform. Eventually, in the following year, Trump pulled the United States out of the Paris Accords, and now present day, the political divide is larger than ever before. The Paris Accords that Trump pulled the United States out of were an international agreement that legally binded the whole world into stopping climate change. It was ratified by over 196 nations, and that covers about 87% of greenhouse gas emissions. Included in this was the understanding of human influence in man-caused emissions. Unfortunately, we were pulled out of this agreement June 1st, 2017.
Our solution to the climate crisis is to ratify the Green New Deal, which is a climate reform bill in the House of Representatives right now. It was proposed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez in February of 2019, and it is non-binding, meaning even if it is ratified, it is not a law, but simply a plan for the future. It initially received a ton of blowback, especially from the GOP, whose members believed that the Green New Deal would create major lifestyle changes during their life. The Green New Deal aims to decrease both carbon emissions and relieve social injustices associated with climate change. One of these social injustices is the decreasing life expectancy in the U.S. today. This is due partially to climate change and also partially to wage stagnation. Substantial money loss has come to the United States because of damage to our infrastructure due to climate change. Wage stagnation, although not a result of climate change, can be slowed down by creating high-paying jobs in the fields of sustainability that will help inflate our wages. But of course, decreasing global temperature is the main focus of the Green New Deal. So you may ask, how do they plan on decreasing our carbon emissions? First, they want to make our public transportation system more environmentally friendly. Next, they want to work with the agricultural sector to make farming more climate friendly. They also want to guarantee universal access to water in order to help increase the life expectancy and the quality of life in the U.S. they want to restore and protect our wildlife and struggling ecosystems in order to prevent unnecessary extinction. Lastly, they want to clean up the hazardous waste sites around the country in order to prevent further pollution. A major portion of the Green New Deal is its effort to create more sustainable infrastructure. The goal is to remove pollution and greenhouse gas emissions from the transportation sector and to offer a high-speed rail. Not only would this reduce our carbon footprint, but also make infrastructure less susceptible to extreme weather and more efficient and luxurious. The Green New Deal also wants to invest in research and development to create more renewably powered vehicles. Not only will this reduce our carbon emissions, but also help create high-paying jobs. Lastly, they want to guarantee consideration of the climate in any future consideration of any climate bill in Congress. The main objective of the Green New Deal is to meet 100% of the power demand in the U.S. through clean, renewable, and zero-emissions energy sources. They plan to do this by dramatically expanding and upgrading power sources, building or upgrading to energy-efficient, distributed, and smart power grids, upgrading all existing buildings in the U.S. and building new buildings to achieve maximum efficiency, safety, affordability, comfort, and durability. The Green New Deal hopes to aid in reducing global emissions to 40 to 60% of 2010's levels by 2030, and then reaching net zero emissions by 2050.
With every solution comes its limitations, and the Green New Deal proposes these. They are difficult to find a consensus, or in other words, pass the bill, societal support, and lack of funding.
So you might ask, how will the Green New Deal be achieved? Where will the United States get the funds to do it? Bernie Sanders claims that it will potentially pay for itself. To break it down, to raise this kind of money, the United States would have to do the equivalent of putting it on a giant credit card. They would also be able to take advantage of investment savers. So fortunately, the creations of millions of jobs will generate the income and tax revenues to pay back the loans.
When it comes to the issue of climate change, societal support is quite difficult to find. Many, especially conservatives, find the deal quite strict. Some believe that the deal may alter their day-to-day lives too much. A reason for the lack of support would be political separation. Based on Pew Research, from 2018, 56% more Democrats support climate reform than Republicans. The number of Republicans that believe in climate change has stayed rather stagnant since Trump has came office. These numbers can be the difference between getting the deal passed or not.
Along with our main solution, we have come up with alternate solutions. Our first alternate solution is to amend school curriculums. We will do this by educating the next generation on the importance of climate change and to demonstrate to students how they can save the planet within their own communities. However, just like any solution, it has its limitations. First, it takes too long to make a difference. And second, some kids can't change their thinking because of the environment they have been raised in.
Finding large companies for their copious amounts of greenhouse gas emissions might also be a possibility to lighten the load. According to The Guardian, 90 companies accounted for 2/3 of man-made emissions worldwide. In 2014, Kia was fined $100 million. They began to decrease drastically, but have since gone up again, therefore making the limitation that these extremely wealthy companies don't care.
The last alternate solution would be to rejoin the Paris Accord. As stated earlier in the presentation, the Paris Accord is a decision made by major companies to eliminate climate change. While yes, this proposes a solution, it does not play directly into the United States' needs, and it also does not provide a plan for the cost. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew, describe an argument from one of your peers' individual reports that made you think differently about your team's solution or conclusion.
I think that Rosa's ideas pertaining to the economic lens made me think differently because of how the economy can affect climate change, especially when infrastructure is damaged due to extreme weather from climate change. I had never really thought about climate change in that manner before, and it changed my thinking and opened me up to new ideas.
Thank you. Angela, how do Having finished your project, what if anything do you consider to be a gap in your team's research that, if addressed, would make you feel more confident about your conclusion?
Having finished the project, I would think getting more research on the economic lens would be beneficial, because just going into the aspect of the funding and where it would come from and just understanding more of the budgetary needs would make it overall a more cohesive project.
Thank you. Rosa, reflecting on your colleague's work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem your group identified?
I think that Angela's political lens gave the most information and made the project really come together, because everything, including solutions, alternate solutions, limitations, really has to do with society and the people, and people make those decisions based on their political beliefs.
Okay, thank you. Trinity, how did the group decide to include Rosa's perspective lens into the overall presentation?
Our group decided to include Rosa's perspective of economics and lens because climate change is not going to be fixed without funding, and kind of like anything in this world nowadays, if you don't have the money for it, it's not going to happen. So her, just like Andrew and Angela stated, her lens really helped us to form our argument.
Okay. Thank you.